Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. But who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. It is the end of 2021, and we're doing kind of a year-end recap. And as you can see, I'm not at my desk. I am sitting here fireside with my good friend, compatriot, son, and creator of the channel, Michael Rivers. Welcome to Criminal Lawyer Reacts, Michael.
Thank you for welcoming me.
So here's the deal. We want to just put a year-end recap of some of the things that we've done. Show you some clips that we think are memorable, and just thank you guys for an incredible year and for the incredible growth that we've had with our channel. Just since February, we have almost 500,000 subscribers. I would never thought this was possible. And this has been his dream for a long time. Michael is a political science major, right?
Yes, I was.
And he's in his last year of law school. And so we've created this incredible channel. Started out as a drill reaction channel. And what we're doing is expanding a little bit to comment on cases and mixing up the content a little bit. And so, Michael, what's our plan once we hit 500,000?
The biggest thing was to start the podcast once we hit the threshold of 500,000 subscribers.
So what we're talking about is doing like long-form interviews with forensic pathologists, with notable criminal defense lawyers, with somebody who's in charge of the Innocence Project or the Freedom Fund. You know, those kinds of people. People that are on the ground doing hard work or doing good work in the area of criminal justice. And maybe we'll even throw in a cop or a prosecutor if we want to torture ourselves. But so how do we even start this channel, Michael?
Well, as you know, I have always been infatuated with YouTube as a whole. And like all growing up, I've always loved the idea of content creation and trying to put out little things here and there. And I started seeing a rise of these reaction channels. And I saw this void that we could fill, which was...
what was our very first video?
YNW Melly, Murder on My Mind.
And I think I watched back. First, I was 30 pounds heavier, and then I also was stiff as a board back then. And he's in jail, right? And then he also gives the method by which he seeks to exact revenge. This we call self-snitching. And we've got a little more comfortable. We've got the format kind of down. But it's interesting how that came to be, and then all of a sudden now he's in custody, and we're looking at his trial coming up in February.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And then, and so we started with that one. We left it alone, didn't do another video for like a year or thereabouts. And then all of a sudden we had 130,000 or so views on it. And so it was like, okay, well, maybe we do have something here. And so we started just doing these drill reactions, and then we've expanded. So let's talk about some of the reactions that we've done.
What was your favorite?
Who I Smoke. 12 paramedics couldn't save your fucking life, boy. I guess we're having a juxtaposition because we have beautiful music. We have a beautiful backdrop. We don't have any guns, which is what I like. But
Who I Smoke was your favorite?
Actually, Who I Smoke and When I See You, I think those two reactions, you know, I didn't realize when we did Who I Smoke anything about the beef between these guys.
Yeah.
And I mean, because I think that's kind of how you wanted it originally, is for me to do a cold reaction. Because, you know, if you look at my playlist, I don't think Young and Ace was on it. No, he is. But he wasn't on it back then. But all of a sudden you get this scene, this nice bucolic golf course, and then all of a sudden these guys smoking a cigar just like anybody would on the golf course. And then I pull your shit back, boy. You know, I mean, what the fuck was that? It starts out just super, you know, whatever. But I didn't know the story behind them when I did that reaction. But then when I did When I See You, that's when it sort of hit me how murderous and how what the beef was with these two groups.
Well, I think also to the uninformed or unaware person, I mean, like, you hear Who I Smoke, and they're still very playful with when they're dissing their dead ops.
Well, yeah, they're using squirt guns.
Yeah, but even like the delivery and the imagery. So then it's such a juxtaposition to Fulio, who's got, a poster board, 4 shot, 3 dead in the worst way. I mean, with Ace's blood brother, his 2 best friends that were killed in the car with him. Ace was shot 8 times, and the response from Fulio was, "Them boys just lost a Fortnite match." That's what he said on Instagram Live, and it's just so, like you say, time and time again, just cold.
And what did you say recently about was it Young and Ace came out with Instagram or something?
Oh no, that was Fulio. He said recently after his last tape just dropped, which is good. I encourage you guys to check it out. The album is called Confidential Thoughts by Fulio. Okay.
And what was he saying in his post?
After this tape, I don't want to diss the dead anymore. And we saw that similar tone taken by Lil Durk earlier this year. He lost D-Thang.
But if you look at these famous guys, these guys that have all kinds of dough and nothing but promise in their future. You've got Draco the Ruler was one that just recently was killed. You've got FBG Duck. You've got King Von. You've got, I mean, it doesn't end. And to what end? Honestly, I mean, these guys are killing each other, and I hope that the statement made by Lil Durk and the one made by Fulio represents a trend, because all this pop, it's just so sad to watch these young guys killing young guys, and they seem like they're not afraid of anything, and they talk about murder like it's eating breakfast.
Another thing we can recognize in this channel is how many people have died since we've started this channel. I mean, just think about that. And how many people have got... We're talking about something. And another really important, I think, period of our channel was when, if you remember this, when Lil Loaded took his own life.
Yeah.
And right prior to that, we had just reacted to one of his songs. He had posted about us on his own YouTube saying, "I got lawyers reacting to my stuff now, LOL," or something like that. And then he goes on to post a suicide note on Instagram.
Yeah.
And kills himself. And that video that we made in response to that resonated with a lot of people.
The non-monetized video.
Yeah.
And it really did resonate with a lot of people, because suicide is no joke, and we didn't joke, and I didn't put up, it didn't have any heat out, and it just is, if you're ever experiencing anything like that, or depression or anything, I encourage you to go back and you watch that video. I think I'm all in black in that one, and I think it's very informative as to what my view, what Michael's view is on suicide, and anyway. So let's talk about something a little more fun. How about the person that Alec Baldwin killed? No, I'm just, one of the things I'd like to do, and I was told by some people on our channel that what I said wasn't accurate. First of all, if I get something wrong, let me know. I mean, because I'll correct it and we'll talk about it. And one of the things I said is, if you ever watch the old westerns, sometimes they go like this: pop, 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 pop. And the firearm that he used was I think it's a Colt 45 Peacemaker. I think that's what it was. And that gun actually has got like 4 clicks. You go back 1 click, which is hardly holding it back at all. And it clicks, and that's a safety, so it doesn't move. You click it back another time, and then another time, and another time. So the only way, if Alec Baldwin is being truthful, that happens is if he has his finger on the trigger. And I pulled it back and I let it go, then his finger had to be on the trigger. And I think everybody universally said how full of shit they thought he was.
Yeah. Yeah, that was... And we talk about, like...
the quintessential self-snitching.
Yeah. And that's another thing we've seen a lot with these public figures that end up getting in whatever sort of controversy, especially ones that insinuate some sort of legal liability.
Travis Scott.
Yeah, Travis Scott. They go right to the media and talk about that. And let me ask you something. As an attorney, if you were representing one of these guys, what would you tell them?
STFU. Shut the fuck up. I mean, what are you doing, Alec Baldwin? You watch. I bet you any money. He says, we didn't know for 45 minutes that she was shot. Bullshit. Nobody fucking believes that. I mean, he's fucking pissing water. Or pissing out of his ass. Because he's just so fucking wrought with not grief, but fear. Because he's on the fucking hook. He just shot somebody. You watch. They executed a search warrant on his phone. Wonder why they did that. You know? And the interview that he did, that is just, could you just write the check out now on the civil side? But on the criminal side, guess what? If they can prove that he was not truthful during that, his defense is just out the window. So, and he's got, I don't care what anybody says what the standard in the movie industry is. No matter what you're doing, you have a duty when you have a firearm to make sure that it's not going to be used improperly, and that you have a duty to know, is it loaded, is it not loaded. So I just can't. But when you're that big, and he's a big name, you think you have an overinflated sense of self-importance. First of all, it's called narcissism. And then you also have the sense that you can control the narrative. I have to get out there. Yeah. This is just bullshit. You shut the hell up. You just let it play out, because anything he says can and will be used against you in the court of law. So what else did we look at this year? The Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
That verdict just came down. She was found guilty of 5 out of 6 counts. Now, Michael spent how many summers did you have summer camp at Fantasy Island? I'm kidding.
Little St. James. Yeah.
Little St. James. That was our nickname for him growing up, Little St. James. No, so Michael's a political science major, so he's kind of a political file and loves to talk about politics and powerful people. So we've got Bill Clinton. He was Lolita Express
26 times.
26 times. Alan Dershowitz.
Yeah.
Bill Gates.
Yeah.
What's his name? And a whole bunch of people. But
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, here's the deal. So Ghislaine Maxwell was found guilty of 5 of the 6 counts. Several of the counts were conspiracy counts, where she's looking at a statutory max of 40 years. But she's 60 years old. Any sentence she gets is going to be probably close to a life sentence. So then the issue becomes whether or not she's going to cooperate. Well, if she cooperates, the only thing she could cooperate on is maybe an ongoing conspiracy case on the sex trafficking, because the other stuff is, if there is any other stuff, would be statute of limitations would have run, right?
Yeah, I was going to also ask you, how much post-conviction cooperation do you see in the federal government?
Oh, there's we see some, but it's not that common. If she would have cooperated, in all likelihood, she would have already done so.
Yeah.
And then she wouldn't have. She didn't testify, did she?
I don't believe she did.
I don't think she did. So we'll see what happens with that. And then we got the Melly trial coming up in February. So, we're going to keep following this. We're still going to be doing drill, right?
Of course.
You got to dance with the girl that brought you, right? And so we'll still keep doing drill. We're going to branch out. We shout out to JCS, right?
Yeah, JCS was instrumental in a big part of our content, because without, the interrogation format and some of the new audience members that brought in it's a completely different interest than just the drill reactions.
Well, and we watched that Casey Anthony, and that was special for me because she used to watch Michael when he was young. No, that's not true. Anyway, but we did do the Casey Anthony, and we did what was the one with the shooter out of Florida, the school shooter?
Oh, Nicholas Cruz.
You just watch some of this stuff, and it's like, how dumb can people be? in all honesty. I mean, Casey Anthony, she takes these detectives to a fake workplace for somebody that didn't work there, somebody that didn't exist. And it's like, eventually you have to know you're going to run into a fucking brick wall, and they know you're lying. And how none of that stuff got in or became part of the case, I don't know, because it's just that would destroy your credibility, any credibility that you might have. So we're almost to 450,000 subscribers, and Michael, could you believe how we've grown over this last year?
No, I could not have predicted it whatsoever. I mean, it just took off, and because of you guys.
From February to here, it's almost a little over 450, and so 455. And so we are going to, once we hit 500,000, we're going to start a podcast and do like long form interviews with people who are in the industry, in the legal field, basically, and some artists too. So we're gonna still, we have our core, it's criminal and it's rap, and so we're gonna combine those two, and hopefully bring you guys something that you can enjoy and be informed about, and something that you can, when you watch our show, you're going to learn something. We want to make sure that you walk away knowing something more than you did before. Now, I want to just talk a little bit about K-Flock and Kevin Perez. He's in custody on a homicide that happened on the 16th of December. Turned himself in on the 23rd. We've been waiting for the criminal complaint. We were told this morning by the DA's office that it hasn't even been drafted yet. I don't know how he's sitting in custody without conditions of release or without anything, without even being charged. He's got a court date in early January. And so we're going to be following that. I did get something wrong in my video on that, and I took it from some early report, and so I apologize. And what I said was that he was in the barbershop. He looked in the barbershop. He wasn't in the barbershop. And then he got followed afterwards. Now, when somebody follows you, they're closing the gap. And so if they're closing the gap, guess what? He is being chased. That's a different complexion than him going in, going pop, 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 And wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, 100%.
And in addition to that, his own lawyers have said that in court that they've demanded discovery, and they heard that there was a tip that somebody else actually was the shooter. So we'll follow up with that. We'll follow up with Melly, whose trial's in February. He's asked for a speedy trial, and on a homicide, a speedy trial is never a good idea. What else do we want to talk about?
I want to get to just some of the adventures that we've had throughout this last year. I mean, for me, really quick, I would just say when I first got that email from No Jumper that we were invited on, he was not very familiar with No Jumper prior to us.
How about not familiar at all?
Not familiar at all. Obviously, I was very, very familiar since
You've been following him since like 9th grade.
Well, let's not put a number on me, but no, I'm just kidding. No, I've been following him since
for a long time.
The early days, the Team Sash, Sash Hollow Water Boys, on there, all these other people, and I've Adam has always been this kind of figure.
Shout out to Adam.
Shout out to Adam for having us on the show.
They invited us. Here's the other thing. We've done absolutely nothing to market our program. Nothing. And people have been hitting us up. I mean, one of the first things that we were on World Star's front page. We were on Lad Bible's front page. They got in touch with us, and it was just interesting to see how much buzz we created so early on.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different outlets to owe that success to, with the Chiracology Reddit page, through people, reposting our stuff on TikTok and having it go viral there. I mean, all these little avenues just kind of blew up all simultaneously. And
one of the things I'd like to do on our podcast, I'd like to have a round table with mothers of gang members, or people, mothers who have had either children die or go to jail, and what it's like to pick up those pieces. Because those mothers, those aunties, those sisters, those are always the people who are picking up the puzzle.
Yeah.
Or pieces of the puzzle. And putting everything back together. So, coming up, we've got another podcast that we're going to be doing, going out to LA. We'll be a guest of RTTV. And whose studio is that?
In Too Short Studio.
Too Shorts Studio, not Too Shorts, I guess, as Michael told me.
Yeah, possessive.
Yeah, Too Shorts. And so watch for that at the end of February. We have we've finished the full length version of our song, and our theme song. And this next spring, we'll incorporate that into a video on a yacht. So that'll be fun to film.
And big shout out to Jaylap, whose voice you're already familiar with. It's the intro to all of our videos, and he's working on the full-length song. And another big shout out to an artist by the name of PCG Boots, 16-year-old from Minnesota, very, very talented, both of them. So make sure their information should be right here. Make sure to give them a follow and check them out. Super outstanding artists, both of them.
And then we did we did a sponsored show, right?
We did that with Motivation to Hustle.
Motivation.
Shout out to Tavy from Motivation to Hustle. He's been another great person locally here.
And Kate Dunlap.
Yep. Shout out to Kate Dunlap.
And Moira Dunlap.
Yep.
Who is a kind of a promoter, agent. She's all over the place.
Manager, yeah.
Yeah, manager. So we made we really branched out and made a lot of great connections.
Yeah.
And so we really love the comments. 99.9% of them are positive. The other 0.1%, well, you can go fuck yourself. No, I'm kidding. No, we learn even from the negative comments. We learn because we're not too arrogant to think that we know everything. And I don't get everything right the first time. When you watch our reactions, they're off the cuff pretty much. And so if I later get information that is, I'll correct it. Like the K-Flock, when I said he went into the barbershop, and that was from an early report. So this has been Bruce Rivers with the creator, the genius, the artist, the man behind the operation, who created our channel, and this has been a fun adventure together, and so it's only going to grow from here. And I can't tell you guys how much we appreciate your support. We got the award right here where we got 100,000. Remember when we got that in?
Yeah. I mean, for
me,
me,
what was your reaction when we got this plaque in?
Okay, for me, it's probably like a lot of you watching this. I mean, YouTube has been a huge part of my life since, I was young. I learned how to do, videography off of YouTube, and I learned how to do all this stuff off of tutorials. I like some of the best content I've experienced has been off YouTube, and when I've always wanted to even just be close to one of these things. So when one came in the mail, and it was something that, we created, it was a different sort of experience for sure.
I remember when that came in the mail, you were walking on cloud nine. You couldn't stop smiling. But I mean, look at where we are now. We're almost at 500,000.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do when we get our gold one?
1 million one?
Yeah.
I don't know. About
this time next year, we'll be talking again. We'll do another year-end review, and we'll show you our gold plaque. Yeah, it's been really fun. So this has been a slice and just a recap of our year-end review, for lack of a better word. We've got, if you're watching this, sign up for Patreon, follow us on Instagram, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, get yourself a self-snitching hat. We're also going to start branching out with a little bit different merch. What are we doing in the merch department, Michael?
That's we hopefully are going to have hoodies and t-shirts fairly soon.
If you want to stop self-snitching hat, go to Shopify, and the link is down below. Come after the first of the year, we'll have more merch. And here's the thing. Send me pictures of you guys wearing the merch, because plenty of you guys have it. And it would be really cool for you guys. So we post some of those on our Instagram. So it's been great seeing you guys. We appreciate the support, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.